Incoming transmission standby. Welcome to the Nod News Network. Gregory Weaver, a former Pentagon official, said the Western Bloc must be ready to use tactical nuclear weapons in Europe. NATO has published an article by a retired U.S. defense official calling on the bloc to fight and win a limited nuclear war against Russia. If the U.S. and China clash over the Taiwan issue, the author believes that a full-scale war in Europe could occur. The article was written by Gregory Weaver, who served as principal advisor on nuclear and missile defense for the Joint Chiefs of Staff. In it, Weaver argued that contrary to Moscow's long-standing nuclear doctrine, Russia could use tactical nuclear weapons to avoid defeat on the battlefield or bring quick victory to a conflict. In such a scenario, Russian military leaders would assume that the West would not respond in kind, lest the situation escalate uncontrollably into a large-scale territorial exchange between the United States and Russia. Instead of fearing nuclear war, Weaver believes the West should accept it. NATO should equip its fighter jets and submarines with tactical nuclear weapons to deter a tactical Russian strike, and convince Russian leadership that NATO is fully prepared to counter limited nuclear first use with militarily effective nuclear responses of our own. Russian nuclear doctrine allows for the use of atomic weapons in the event of a first nuclear strike on its territory or infrastructure, or if the existence of the Russian state is threatened by either nuclear or conventional weapons. This position has not changed since 2010 and makes no exception for the use of tactical nuclear weapons, which are far less powerful than the strategic nuclear weapons that NATO and Russia would fire at each other in the event of an all-out exchange. Despite these clear guidelines on nuclear use, Weaver claimed that Russia could launch an attack on NATO states in Europe if the US were preoccupied with fighting China over Taiwan, a scenario that he treats as possible without further explanation. To counter this, he recommends that NATO move more deep precision strike capabilities to Europe, form several modern armored divisions in the Baltic states and Eastern Europe, and press European members to provide the more conventional capability, while the US sends them tactical nuclear weapons. Weaver did not mention the consequences that nuclear war would wreak on the European countries where such a conflict would be fought. Speaking at the United Nations General Assembly in New York last month, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov warned that Western leaders were so obsessed with inflicting a strategic defeat on Russia that they have lost their sense of self-protection. This has been the Nod News Network. Transmission complete.